What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. John Sinclair TV back again this afternoon. It's the delayed content. It's going to be the Sheffield Wednesday Newcastle FA Cup tie, which third round, and it's going to be taking place tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. at Hillsborough. Good evening to afternoon, Rolly and Adam.
Hi, John.
Yeah, I think Adam's frozen, but can you hear us, Adam?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. So, yeah, guys, if you like the video, like what you see, hit the like button, click on subscribe, and also if you like the super chat, it's open as well, and you like to become a member, it's just 99p. So, yeah, we'll start with you, Adam. Welcome aboard, mate. And what I'm going to say is sort of thing like, welcome.
Hi, all right. It's good to be here. I'm looking forward to this afternoon. I don't know about you.
Well, it's good. It's going to be different. It's going to be like a tricky game, but you know we should comfort a day. But we'll come to them later on. So, Adam, talk about your season so far, Sheffield Wednesday, right? I mean, Darren Moore is your manager, and he's doing a fantastic job with you lot. And he plays the back three, and he plays like 3-4-3, 3-5-2, and you know, and you're playing so well. You're second in the league, and what has he done to turn your club around, mate?
I think the big thing that Darren Moore's done for us is he's changed the squad mentality. So when we were in the Championship, the last couple of years before we ended up coming down, we appeared to have quite a few players on big money who were playing for themselves rather than the club. And I think that's something that Darren's worked really hard to instill in the team, that, you know, if, you know, the age-old adage of if you fight for the name on the front of the shirt, the fans will remember the name on the back. And I think that's something that we've really missed. We've missed a lot of character for a while. It's not there 100%, but it's definitely on the road to that way.
Absolutely. If you've got the mentality there, you're absolutely right. You have to have the attitude, you have to have passion, and you want to be there to play for that football club.
100%. You know, there's been a couple of occasions where Darren Moore said that he's spoken to players about new contracts and stuff. And when he first came in, obviously we were pretty much down and out already, and he offered a couple of contracts to players. And they said, no, I've had enough. I don't want to be here anymore. He says, and obviously for him to be a new manager hearing players saying that his first 6 months is shocking. He said, but now players are coming to him saying, I want to sign on next year. Can you get me a new contract ready? You know, it is nice to see. And you can see with some of the players that they actually care about the club. And especially when you've got players like Will Volks that care about the local community with all the work he does with Bluebell Wood. It does bring a sense of family to the club, which is something that as a working class area, you feel is quite important to a football club.
Absolutely right. Totally agree, man. It's important to have that attitude. It's important to have a family as well. Go through the comments as well. Please keep those comments coming in, please. Thank you. Big up to Ian. Hi to you, mate. Hi to Truls. Hi to Chesria as well. One of me mods, but thank you very much indeed. I hope you're okay, Jez. And totally agree with what you say. And happy New Year to you, Mr. Marks. I hope you're candy. Yes, it's a great time to be a Toon fan. Big up to Truls as well. Hi to you. And also, Andy's got a comment as well. Anyone, and I've got to ask you as well, Rory, I don't know anything about this bit. Anyone heard the rumours about Maxi? Apparently, he used to travel with the squad according to other Newcastle channel. Now, this is the first I've heard of. What have you heard about it?
I've heard a little bit about it. And it's on one of the channels as an inside scoop, I think. But it doesn't make a lot of sense, because if there was a game that Maxi's going to start in, you would think it'd be this one, because he's not been, he's been injured for a long time. He's used very late against Arsenal, but his understanding that Murphy came on first because Murphy's better defensively. And Arsenal were doing all the attacking, especially at the end, so it made sense. If he gets the starts today, he gets the chance to show Eddie what he can do and potentially make himself undroppable. There's a lot to it that doesn't add up. I've heard it's on Twitter, but in our Northwest Mags group, someone just posted that the person that actually put the initial post on Twitter has deleted it now. So make of that what you will. So until we get the team news, I'll take it that he's there.
Yeah, thing is, so Newcastle don't make any comments at all whatsoever. It's in house, so they don't say a thing. But the thing is, though, is they don't want to say anything. Eventually, it's just going to come out eventually. Do you know what I mean? So there's no smoke without fire. Something's going to come out very, very soon between Eddie and Maxi or ASM. Me personally, I just don't think he fancies him. I could be wrong, but if that is the case, then we need another left winger ASAP. Another channel saying how. What's that? What's that, Rolly?
I think you need one anyway. Someone to push Maxi.
It'd be very interesting. It's very interesting. Do you know what I mean? But end of the day, right? If you don't want to be at Newcastle, sort of thing, then we need to do something about it ASAP. Because obviously,
he doesn't want to be here, but he's made no indication that he wants to leave.
I haven't heard that at all.
Exactly. So, but then, I mean, we get a lot of people saying, "Oh, we should sell Maxi," and I'm thinking, well, we haven't actually got rid of the deadwood in the squad yet. So why are we going to sell one of our better players?
Don't make sense.
Yeah, get rid of the deadwood, increase the quality of our squad,
right,
and then potentially move along or improve it. Yeah. And I think he's been playing a lot better this season than he has. He's more of a team player now than he was.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Before we go back to Adam by Sheffield Wednesday, I'll go through the comments again. Another chance saying is how ASM had the bust up. Unless the club says anything, I don't believe it. I have to agree there, mate. Jules, you're right. Big up to Greece. Nathan, by the way, hope you're all right. Good afternoon, John Lad. Big up to you, Liam. I'm keeping well, man. Hope you and family are too. I'm well, thanks, John, and hope you are too. I'm indeed, Chaz. Long day at work today, but hey, ho. And 3 sources confirm that ASM bust up. Yes, this really doesn't look good. Now, Paul, what Paul said there is true. It does not look good for ASM, let's be real. But we're going to talk about that in a bit when he comes on. And Adam, yeah, I was going to say, Barry Bannum's your key player. My understanding is he's going to be out for this game because he pulled up a hamstring. Is that right?
Yeah, Barry Bannon's expected to be out for a couple of weeks. We had our pre-match conference yesterday, and Darren Moore alluded to the fact that the injury wasn't quite as bad as initially believed, but he is expected to be out for a couple of weeks. If you'd have said, is that a humongous loss to me 2 weeks ago, I'd have said yes. But of late, we've noticed that there's been a significant improvement in midfield with the return of George Byers. He's a massive player for us. He's probably along the ilk to replace Bannon in midfield when Bannon inevitably retires. That'll be a sad day for Wednesday when he does. But Will Vaulks as well, obviously from Cardiff in the Championship last year, dropped down to Wednesday in League One. We'd not seen all that much from him, I must admit. When he first came in, it was a little bit underwhelming. But the last game, he bossed that midfield. He was fantastic. You know, every single time a defender stood forward, he was filling in the gaps. He was able to take the ball off their opposition and then pass it to players who had more significant passing availability to them at the time. So, yes, he will be a loss, but I don't think he will be as much as what a lot of people think.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Who's not fun for you? So, I mean, Michael Smith, he looks a good player. Big lad, 6'7", scores of his heat. I mean, when you play the long ball, it goes to him all the time.
Yeah, and Michael Smith's a big Geordie. He's looking forward to today's his childhood hero, where Alan Shearer did a preview thing with the FA Cup themselves, talking about his time as a childhood Newcastle fan and watching Alan Shearer growing up. And it'll be a big day for him today. However, from a Wednesday fan perspective, I think the vast majority of us aren't actually expecting to come out of today with anything. If we'd have played you guys at the start of last season as opposed to halfway through this season, I think it would be a different conversation. But now that Eddie Howe's got your players playing as they should be, you've got a little bit of money into your squad, you've brought in some quality players. I think today is a free hit for us. We performed admirably away at Southampton in the Carabao Cup. Unfortunately, get knocked out on penalties. But I think if you ask the majority of fans there from both sides, we deserve to win that game. So I think today I want to go in and get a good performance. But with Lee Gregory out injured, we're not quite sure how long he could be. Could be until he returns. It could be back today. It could be a couple of weeks. We're not sure. So at this moment in time, Michael Smith is our only clinical striker. So do I want him risking against Newcastle in the FA Cup? Probably not. So you might see Callum Patterson up top today. Again, another former Cardiff City player.
Yeah. we'll see what happens on that one, mate, and see what the squad's going to be that day. We go through some more comments. Big up to Paul, by the way. Yeah, we read that. Afternoon, Luke. Hope you're okay, mate. Big up to Cenk from Cyprus. Hope he's fine. And does ASM have the right to be frustrated? Yes, he does. If you're not on the team, then you're going to get frustrated. You know what I mean? But what can you say?
In a way, if he's had a bust up about wanting to play, that in itself isn't really a bad thing because it shows that he's hungry. And Eddie's got great man management skills, so I'm sure that whatever's happened, if it has happened, is probably a storm in a teacup. Matthew, when he got injured, he was playing as well as anybody in the team.
Yeah.
But he was out for a long time, and the team has evolved and it's got better. So it's really difficult to drop anybody the way we've been playing. So he's just got to bide his time. But if he's banging on Eddie's door saying, "I want to be playing," to me, that's not a bad thing. Rather than do that and sit on his haunches and think, and sulk and say, "Oh, and just take me money because and I don't have to do anything for it." If he wants to play, I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely. I mean, look, at the end of the day, right, I think ASM loves the club and Eddie Howe loves him in the squad as well. But again, do the two get along? Nobody knows so really. No one knows. I mean, unless he comes out and says his press conference as well, I'm sure the questions will be asked. Then nobody knows, and that is the thing. But if he doesn't play today, right, then there's a real problem with ASM. But we'll just see. And
so I just say, John, it all depends because when we played in the Carabao Cup in the last round, we were expecting Eddie to make changes. We played a pretty much full strength side.
Yeah, we did.
So we don't know whether he's going to rest or rotate anyone.
We should see. I've got Karen Slater. We got Susan Karen Slater. I'm sure she's a good person. It was Ginger Baz who said that Max about ASM. He posted fake transfers news all the time. Make of what you will. Karen, he actually read accurate, to be honest. He's not accurate, to be honest, most of the time. And Paul's, if true, are more worried about his upset in the dressing room. It needs to be sorted out ASAP. Calvin saying to Paul, he would have known a lot of the age to someone at the club, know all these things. He said Ekitiki was signing on the Monday and he never did. Calvin, please, no comments about other channels. Yeah, fair enough. Thank you. I should have read that as well, but there you go. Yeah, Calvin's chatting to Paul. Everyone's chatting to everyone else. We did a big joke back in the ASM goes. We have a weekend midfielder for it. And Calvin's chatting to Paul. Paul's chatting. Also, ASM was missing that partnership on the left. Miggy and Trippier has it down to a T. The weak link is on midfielders. Longstaff, my opinion. You know my documents on Longstaff in any case. And just chatting to Karen. I checked the news and seen nothing. To be fair, that's from Jules. Hi to Tony. Nathan, what time Saturday? 6 o'clock tonight. 6 o'clock kickoff. And Jess in a different area. I'm not going to mention where he is, but look, time somewhere nice. When Tugger plays as a link, but doesn't have that with Burn, and he is playing. We're going to broad, Tony. I mean, Ian, we're going to come on to you about Stevens in a bit. Tony, you all right, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I was doing a show and then I just had to go and prep dinner for tonight. So, yeah, get me tea sorted out for later on.
Fair enough. Yeah, I watched part of your show today. You're absolutely magic. What a magic show that today with Pete. Absolutely magic. And thank you for that, mate. Great content as well.
I'm sure a lot of people will watch it during the afternoon as well, because obviously some people are still probably at work on the Saturday as well.
Exactly. Ian, Adam, I keep calling Ian, Adam. I'll talk to you about Steve Bruce. When he first came to your club, right? I mean, was you happy with the appointment?
Yes, very happy. I think a lot of Wednesday fans saw it as a sign of ambition from the club. Obviously, not so long previously to that, he'd taken Hull up at the expense of Wednesday through the playoffs. We'd seen his track record of being able to get teams to the next level, which is something, as I'm sure you're aware, for 23 years we've not been able to do. So yes, upon initial employment of Steve Bruce. We were obviously, that was very quickly tempered by him refusing to take ownership of the club until mid-February, so we could go and watch the cricket in Barbados. That rubbed up the fans a lot the wrong way, to say the least. But then when he did come in, form did pick up. You know, we were noticeably playing a lot better. Again, what I mentioned before about the squad harmony, he brought back a couple of players that had been alienated by previous managers. We seemed to be changing to a formation that suited the players we had, rather than trying to play something that didn't quite work with the players that we had at our dispense. And yeah, initially, very happy, obviously, as I'm sure you can appreciate from a Maggie's point of view, that quickly went downhill when he left us to join yourselves, and neither of us were happy about that. So...
yeah, I mean, Tony, what do you think of that? I mean, I heard that, like Adam said about Steve Bruce taking on the Sheffield Wednesday job, and he said he's going to go to cricket first. I mean, according to what Adam just said, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, if I was a Sheffield Wednesday chairman, which I'm not, I would have said, you want to see the cricket? Yeah, that's fine. Go and watch the cricket, but you ain't getting the job here. We'll move on elsewhere. That's what he should have done. Steve Bruce got the money to say, okay, I'll cancel watching the cricket. I'll lose a couple of grand or whatever it cost him to go there to Barbados, and I'll start my job, because he's got that much money from compensation from getting sacked from every job he's been to.
Yeah,
and he may be back in football very soon as well. So you know, he may be the new manager of Portsmouth. Who knows? Personally, I think he should retire. But as long as he can still earn a few bob by getting the sack, then he'll just go and fail at Portsmouth, you know. He did promise to take West Brom out the Championship, but he just didn't tell them which way he was taking them. You know, he said, I will get you out the Championship, yeah, but I'll not tell you which way. But he nearly got them relegated. But yeah, I mean, it's just poor. It's just poor, really, from Steve Bruce's side, and we should never come to Newcastle anyway, and that's because of this. Not only because of the Sunderland connection, but I know he's a Newcastle fan, or he says he's a Newcastle fan. But I bet Norwich are jumping up in joy that he didn't go to Norwich, and they got David Wagner instead, which is a hell of a better caliber manager than what Steve Bruce is.
Exactly. But you know what it is? I think Steve Bruce is done. He's finished at Newcastle. He's finished at football management. Do you know what I mean? There's quality young players out there. Go and get them. Give them a chance, man. But Steve Bruce, in my opinion, he is finished. Liam, big up to Liam. It's evident that Eddie loves a team of workhorses. Don't get me wrong, Maxi's very talented footballer, but the biggest problem with Maxi is that he doesn't know when to release the ball. Yeah, that has been documented as well in some games as well.
I think he's improved a lot with that this season. That's one thing I've noticed, that he's not always trying to beat the players. He's actually looking to play people in. Sometimes he's actually looking to do that rather than actually having to go when he's in a better position than the person he's playing to. But he is adapting his game to pick out players. So, but we've just not seen a lot of him play because of injury to see how far he's developed along that lines.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he'll get better. ASM will get better and better in time. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm a fan of him.
He's not reached his peak yet. Was he 25, 26?
25.
Yeah, so he's not reached his peak yet.
He's not. You're right. Go for some more comments. If you have players not offered to dear, can you play them all? That's
my dad.
Peter!
Yeah, it's me dad.
Wow. Hit the subscribe button, Peter, if you can. That'd be brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. It's always great to see League One as well. Talking about Newcastle, but
I mean, what's all this news? I mean, I've just picked up an hour WhatsApp group which me and Rolly are part of, and all this about ESM. I mean, I've not seen anything official about it, and people saying he's not going to travel to the game. Well, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, we'll see when the team sheets comes out if he's in that team or not. But this is exactly what I said on my show the other night, John, when you were on, when I'd done a transfer show, and I said, likes of me, yourself, Pete, we talk facts. We do not spread fake. We do not do fake news. And we know there is some channels out there. I'm not going to name them, but I'm just going to say there are some channels out there that are fake news. And at the end of the day, they can go out there and spread that fake news. But I will always say how it is. If I've got the fact in front of me, that's how it'll be. If we're linked to players, I'll say we're linked to players. I'll say we don't know if we're signing them or not, but we're linked. I would not go out my way to say, by the way, this player will be in Newcastle on Monday morning, because when it doesn't happen, you get a lot of grief for it. And it comes back to bite you in the backside. Plus, things can be clipped on social media and used on any other platform. So you've got to be careful what you're saying. That's why I always say, I'm always more facts. I don't like fiction. And I would never spread fiction, that's for sure. But going on today's game, John, I can give you a stat on the officials if you want. So the official for this game, the referee, we know him quite well, John. It's Michael Salisbury, who disallowed our goal against Crystal Palace. But more famously, Michael Salisbury was our referee in the Cambridge game last year when we lost 1-0 in the third round against League One opposition. He stats for 21-22. He's done 21 games in all competitions because he's not a very experienced referee. He's dished out 67 yellow cards and 5 red cards in that time in 21 outings. He's assisted by Gary Bezic and Akil Housen. The fourth official is Ollie Yates, so he must be an EFL official, as far as I can be aware. But yeah, he was our referee last year. He used to be a PE teacher, and he was born in Penwortham in Lancashire. He refereed as a teenager in local leagues in Preston. He was inspired by his dad, who was himself a referee in the Football League. His dad was called Graham Salisbury. He retired in 2020-21, and he took charge of 588 Football League games. And I remember Graham Salisbury, and I'm sure a few people will remember him as well. So yeah, so there you go. That's the referee for today. Same one as when Cambridge knocked us out last year. And hopefully we don't get the same curse as we got last year as well. Because don't forget, Sheffield Wednesday has got Michael Smith, who was a Newcastle fan. Yeah. And last year we got knocked out by Joe Ironside, who scored for Cambridge, who idolised Alan Shearer. And so Lightning hopefully won't strike twice this time.
Yeah. I've got so used to Newcastle getting knocked out in the early stages by underdogs. I'm not a fan of underdogs. Sorry, Andy, but I hope you get thumped.
I thought I'd just bring down a few stats up, John.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Tony. Thanks so much.
What's your feelings on the referee, John? What's your feeling on the referee, John? Are you confident? No.
Not really, no. Not really. I mean, the guy's a jinx. I mean, he's card happy, though, isn't he? He's card happy. 21 games, 67 yellows and 5 reds. My God. That works out to be, 5 bookings again? Gee whiz. What can I say, man? We'll see what happens today. As long as we win, we don't care. So,
yeah, I hope he lets the game flow. They start to get into trouble when they keep, like the guy, was it Medley who had a set for the Arsenal game? Once they start brandishing the cards for things that are borderline, they make a rub for their own back, and then they lose the flow of the game, and it gets away from them like it did on Tuesday. And then they end up having a nightmare of a game. So if he lets it flow, it's better for the fans to have a flowing game. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Sheffield Wednesday won't do a Tranmere and try and kick us off the park. But,
we're not that sort of team. Not that sort of team.
Good. Yeah, he does play good football. He does play football. 37 people watching live. Thank you very much indeed. Please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe button as well. And just follow us as well. More comments as well. Go on, Tony.
Yeah, can I just ask Adam the question? So last night I had 2 Sheffield Wednesday fans on with me. Last night I had one from the Wednesday Week podcast and one from Owls America. Great to have a guy coming in from the States as well. I mean, I didn't realise how you've got quite a fan base out in America as well. But the question I asked them last night is, one, how happy are you with Darren Moore as a manager? Has he progressed? Because he's been at a couple of clubs, and it looks like at Sheffield Wednesday he seems to have found the right club now. And obviously you're doing well at the minute. You're second in League One after beating Cambridge 5-0 on Monday afternoon. If the question I'm going to ask you is, which I asked them last night, so the first one obviously Darren Moore, but the second one is, if you had a choice today, and I know this is going to be a hard thing for you to come out with, but if you had the choice, would you rather have a cup run and maybe sneak the playoffs, or would you rather go out the cup today and go up automatically to the Championship? Bearing in mind, Sheffield Wednesday should never have been in League One in the first place. I mean, I remember you from the 90s when you were in the top division. You had the likes of Benito Carboni, Paolo Di Canio, even Cantona briefly. David Hurst. You had Kevin Pressman. You had some great players there, Chrissy Waddle, and you got to 2 cup finals in the same season. And one of them went to a replay, if I remember, and you lost them both to Arsenal. So what's your thoughts on them 2 questions about Darren Moore and then about the promotion?
I'll answer the second one first because that's the easiest answer to give. When Wednesday were last in the Premier League, I believe it were Arsenal. I believe it was yourselves, Newcastle, that inflicted our biggest loss in Premier League history. Was it 8-1?
Yeah.
I'd rather see a repeat of that if it means we can get promoted out of League One. 100%. This game today is a complete free hit for us. You know, if we beat you today by some miracle, I'd be buzzing. But I'm not going to Hillsborough today expecting a win. I'm going to Hillsborough today hoping to see a good performance that I can walk out of and be proud of. We've got some fantastic players. I reckon the vast majority of our squad are quite possibly mid to bottom level Championship players, which is of great benefit to us. If we do get up, they should do well for us next year. But we haven't got, Bruno Guimaraes. We haven't got, whether he plays or not, Saint-Maximin. And as much as you lot might not appreciate him quite as much as some of your bigger players, Jacob Murphy, when he was on loan at Wednesday, was fantastic. We all wanted to sign him. So no, the easiest answer in the world, I'd rather us get promoted and get knocked out today. As to the Darren Moore question, very happy with what he's done so far based on where we are in the league. But there is a contingent of Wednesday fans that is far from minuscule that are on the Moore out brigade, which is surprising considering the league position we're in. But it's the football that you can sometimes see that brings into question his tactical ability. Our plan A usually works pretty well. Obviously, with the quality we've got, we don't tend to struggle to break down teams. The odd occasions we do, there could be a plethora of reasons. They're playing what Darren Moore likes to call a low block and just sitting in, akin to what Burnley did in the Premier League. You just can't get past them because there's so many behind the ball. But a lot of the time, we do tend to break down teams and score goals. The problem that we've got is if that doesn't work, I don't know if it's a reluctance to change plan because he's so stubborn in thinking his first plan will work, or if it's a lack of inspiration to come up with something different. I don't know. I'm not Darren Moore. I'm happy with the job he's doing. And I said at the start of this season, if we're fighting for an automatic spot come Christmas, I want him to stay in the job. If we were 2 or 3 positions lower and had the same points gap that, let's say, Barnsley or Derby have currently got, I'd want him out of the job. We need to get out of this league desperately.
Yeah. It's a horrible. Not that we've been there, but it's the Championship's bad enough, but it's League One.
The Championship's kind of become Wednesday's home for the vast majority of my time watching Wednesday. I'm only 24, 25 in a couple of weeks myself. So unfortunately, at the time where we had the fantastic players that you were able to mention there, that was my dad's era rather than mine. So the best players I could possibly go back to are the likes of Chris Brunt, Gary Hooper, Fernando Forestieri, though you might not like him, Stephen Fletcher, who were fantastic for us. That sort of ilk of player to me are what I see as Wednesday's best. And then my dad comes out with Chris Waddle, David Hurst, John Arks, that sort of ilk of player. And it's just not even comparable. So for me, just to get out of League One would be a huge achievement. You know, I've seen it twice while I've been alive. Unfortunately, we've yo-yoed a couple of times. But yeah, I think Darren Moore can take us there. Do I think he could progress us further to where we want to be, back in the promised lands with you guys? I don't know. It's too far in the future. So
yeah, we see what Hartman said. So Sheffield Wednesday gets promoted this season. I think they will this time. Don't understand why anyone would want Boo's shocking manager. Big door, please hit the subscribe button, mate. Please, thank you very much indeed, mate. Check news again is now about a bus stop. Although we checked it, I can't find it as well. Excuse me. Big up to Gary D. They had to feel sorry for Eddie Clark employs the cabbage. We call the cabbage the Boo's cabbage eat. I don't know if you know about that.
I feel sorry for the supporters, not the club, because the club know what they're getting, because his record's there for everyone to see. It's the fans I feel sorry for.
Was it at Villa where he had a cabbage lobbed at his head?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that
Then we employed him.
Absolutely. You got Tony got a fan here, Karen, saying well said, Tony, about the transfer as well, and absolutely right. What Tony's saying, people might be misinterpreting on Arson's tweet when he said new chapter. Listen, I haven't checked it out, and I checked out about the bus stop. I can't find it, and chatting to other people. Is there any news on the fascinated that kid for Valladolid? We're going to do a transfer shoot tomorrow around about in the afternoon, so keep your eyes peeled for that, mate. And just like they did when ASM said we're not ready for what's to come on that coffee as well. And they would go for it. We will start a strong steam, knowing EFL Cup tie so close. Big up to Jules, by the way. Love the Jules. And go for this as well. There seems to be a few channels on YouTube claiming to be Newcastle channels, but when they talk, they don't have to draw the accent, lads. Exactly. And flying through these as well. And got big up to Nick as well. Nick, it's not all about the officials. We just have to play to our strengths. The best team will win. Nick, hit that subscribe button, please, mate. Thank you very much for that comment. Absolutely right.
Just like to say about the guy asking about Fresneda. In Eddie's press conference yesterday or day before, he said that there's nothing imminent. So take of that what you will. It could be that there is nothing imminent, or it could be Eddie doing what Eddie does and telling you, answering your question and telling you absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but Rolly, remember back in the summer, nobody else was coming in 48 hours. Isak came through the door. So
that's what I mean.
Eddie just tells the media what he wants to tell them. That's basically saying, look, FFP, we can't go around getting loads of players in because of FFP, blah, blah, blah. Just to say to the media, look, don't ask me because that's the question, that's the answer you're getting. And you know what will happen. I'll expect us to sign, I think we'll sign 2 to 3 players in this window.
So do I.
And I'm confident of that.
As I said, it could be Eddie doing what Eddie does in press conferences, answering the question and tell you absolutely nothing.
But just remember, today is the anniversary. It's 12 months today Kieran Trippier signed for the club.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Just a question for you, Ian, as well. I mean, can you see us getting top 4 this season, Adam?
I reckon you'll scrape it. I think the big thing for you guys is keeping your key players fit. Obviously, I'm no Newcastle United expert like you guys might be, so I don't follow you week in, week out. But from an outside perspective, looking up at the Premier League, there's quite a few teams around you with a wealth of depth. You know, even Man United, they're scraping up there now. No one expected them to be making the rise they are. They've gone about it quietly. Chelsea seem to be struggling, but it'll only take them to get a good striker in this term, and that could change their season as well. Keep your main players fit and keep the identity that Eddie Howe's got you playing. I reckon you could. I don't particularly have an affinity for Newcastle in the same way that I don't really have an affinity for any other team. I'm a Wednesday lad. I support Wednesday. But out of all the bigger teams that are up there, I would like to see Newcastle do something, especially Champions League, you know, just to bring something different into the league instead of seeing the same old names always playing. You know, next year, if you had a Champions League draw and you got Bayern Munich against Newcastle, it's just a bit interesting. I'd rather watch that than watch the same games week in, week out. So...
Yeah, absolutely fair comment. I mean, I'm just going to say, like, Saint-Maximin against Sven Botman. Wow, that'd be something else. That'd be something else. Apparently, ASM had a big bust over Eddie and refused to get on the coach. So Lewis in as a replacement. That's I was fishing an adventure. Very interesting.
How would Lewis be there? How can Lewis be in the replacement when he's a left back and
Maxi's a left wing.
Maxi's on the wing, left wing.
You're getting scared of the Wednesday. You're going defensive, boys.
Wow.
That's one of the problems. All the things they're saying about it don't make sense. I mean,
John, it's all crap. It's all clickbait, John. That's exactly what it is, John. It's clickbait. And there's a lot of Newcastle. There's a lot of channels out there that are clickbait, John. And they mislead you to watch them just to draw you in. And, you know.
All for likes, Tony. It's all for likes. They do it for all for likes and all for retractions as well. Do you know what I mean? Until you get found out that we're not going to believe this one anymore. Nah. You know what I mean? That's why we never do things like that. We don't do it at all. Simple as that. We talk facts. Apparently, like I said, read that. So please hit subscribe, by the way. Thanks so much indeed. Who's doing all these rumours? Different channels, mate. Different channels. I'm not going to mention names. Afternoon to Leslie. So I'm late again. I ain't good enough, Leslie. Not good enough. But we'll let you off this time because you are a regular. And that's the reason why. I hope you had a good New Year, by the way, Les. Hope you're okay. And thanks to everyone else. Coffee as well. Don't name the channel exactly. Don't name the channels, please. If they do, then it will not be read out at all whatsoever. So, Chess has got a spot on. So, Rolly.
Yeah. Can I just quote Tony for 1 second?
Yeah, go for it.
With regard to transfers, until I see them at St James's Park with a shirt on and the scarf above their head, they haven't signed.
That's it, exactly. That's the thing. That's what I keep telling people, you know. People will say, is this player coming in? We don't know. There's no leaks come out the club. That's the thing. And when these channels say, we've got this week, we got an exclusive, this player's coming in, it's like, but where are you getting the leaks from? Because there's no leaks coming out the club. And I don't believe it until I actually see that player, as Rolly's just said, stand there with a black and white shirt on, the scarf above their head, and saying, I've signed. It's great being linked with the players. We'll probably be linked with 1,000 players by the end of this month. But I still expect us to get 2 or 3 in maybe. And
I'm thinking.
But what I found interesting yesterday is the tweet that The Athletic put out, and that was saying Brendan Rodgers has said he's got, including the 7 out-of-contract players in the summer, he wants the club to start selling players who don't want to be at the club because he's not happy. So maybe Madison may be one of those thrown in there as well because he's refused
what a signing that'd be.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Yeah.
But Spurs are after him as well, by the way. So if he goes to Spurs, good luck. You're not getting the team at all. No, you got Bentancur and Højbjerg in the team as well. Do you know what I mean? You've got those two on the side.
Spurs, John.
Well, Spurs won him though. But
if he goes to Spurs, he's not going to a top 4 side.
Exactly. Exactly. But you can still make it, though, but go on.
Newcastle's closer to Leicester than London, aren't they?
Exactly. I don't think he'd be wasted as well in London anyway, so under Conte, if he's still at the club. Afternoon, no, big up to Clone Lad. I hope you're okay, Clone Lad. Mr. Start. Will Sheffield Wednesday feel a strong side of the year? Hopefully we'll rotate the squad. Games coming thick and fast, Adam.
I reckon we'll see a mixture today. I reckon he'll make a couple of changes from the team that beat Cambridge 5-0. But I'm not too sure that it will be a weak side. There's a strong feeling that a couple of the rotation midfielders might start. Your Backinsons and maybe Denerin might make his first start of the season in the league. We might see Alex Myton, who we've got on loan from Nottingham Forest, make a start, and possibly even Malik Wilkes, who we signed from Hull in the summer. But a lot of those players, though not starting 11 players, aren't, they're not all too far away from the first team. There might be a couple of under-21s on the bench. We might see Real Shipston on the bench, depending on how much Darren Moore wants to rest a couple of the more senior players. We could see Billy Cadamartre and Leojo Davidson, but I don't know.
yeah, we'll see what happens when the team news comes through at 5 o'clock. It's their playing manager conflict. It should be settled in the club. Anyone leaking all this info is breaking the unity. Will be rebuilding at this club. Thank you, I love Coffee. Well done, well said, man. Because at the end of the day, he nailed it on the heat as well. It should not be out. It should be in the club. It's as simple as that. We don't want anyone upsetting the apple cart. You know what I mean? So it is just keep it in the house. Absolutely. I'd like to see Sheffield Wednesday continue to do well, apart from today.
That's fair enough.
I agree with that sentiment. Because Wednesday are a big club. They shouldn't be in League One. I mean, myself and Tony are old enough to remember when they were there, back in the sort of 70s and in the 70s. But they're just too big a club to be languishing in that league. So you need to get your act together and get out of it.
It's a sorry state of affairs when we're playing at home and you look to the away end and there's 150, 200 fans in there. It's heartbreaking. You know, seeing a stadium like Hillsborough and we can't fill the home end because no one's bothered about playing Port Vale at home, and the away end can't be filled because Port Vale's tiny. You know what I mean? Like, even in the Championship, where your clubs like Wigan and Preston in there that don't necessarily take a lot of fans, it still feels significantly less tin pot than what we've currently got.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I don't remember much in the 70s of Sheffield Wednesday, by the way, Rawley. Not that old.
I don't remember much. I just remember that they were when we were in the second division. They were the old second division. They were in the old third division with Sheffield United.
I'm only 25, lads. You know, I'm not that old. You know.
It's just you're not an old git like me.
Hey, there's two old players I've heard: Imi Friday and Mel Sterling. They were really good for Wednesday.
Jamie Vardy never actually managed to play first team football for Wednesday. He came through our academy. He was released at a young age. Obviously made his way through Stocksbridge Juniors before then being signed on at Fleetwood, and then made his move to Leicester. Unfortunately, as a football club, you don't always make decisions right, and we have got a tendency to let talent go too early. But Mel Sterling, I can't claim to say much about him, but my dad's in the comments, and if he's still watching, I'm sure he'll pop a comment up because he goes on about the heyday of Wednesday quite a lot, and it makes me sick when I have to watch the crap that we have to watch now.
So you're not players. So I mean, Paul Warhurst, he was another good player as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you had Des Walker,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Woods, hell of a goalkeeper. Chris Woods, brilliant goalkeeper.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Andy, about letting good players go really, really young, we let Alan Shearer go.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah,
we've
all made mistakes.
Tried to play him as a goalkeeper and he wasn't. So yeah,
that'd be something Darren Moore would do. To be fair, you might see that if Callum Patterson plays today, for whatever reason, if we get any injuries, I think in his time at Wednesday, he's played in every single position on the pitch apart from goal. So, you know, he could be lining up at left wing back, strike, midfield, anywhere today. So,
And I don't know, guys, if you've seen, right? I mean, I will be careful what I say, right? But the Gallagher Bear, right? It's just sent a tweet, right, in a DM, or not my DM, but basically about ASM, right? Well, I will say, according to the Gallagher Raw, right? I mean, sent a tweet to somewhere I'm not going to mention. My mate's just sent me this. Apparently, he's at ASM's at Spurs ground, not looking good. Now, one thing I'm going to say is, right, we don't know how true it is. We don't know, right? But if that is true, then it's good. But I'm not going to say anything about that, okay? But that is it. But if that is true, it doesn't look good. But I'm not going to say yes, it's true. No, it's not. It could be anywhere, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he could be anywhere. But I mean, John, it's just all speculation. And do you know what? I don't listen to speculation, John. I just want to listen to facts, and I don't deal with fiction. And I'm not interested in what people have got to say out there. If they want to spread rumours and things like that, let them get on with it. I won't do it on my channel because at the end of the day, I want to be respected for being a truthful person rather than just trying to spin people
Yeah.
on. And I won't do that to anybody. I won't spin anybody on. At the end of the day,
Same here.
if something happens, it happens, and I'll break the news if I can. But if it doesn't, then I'll put it to one side. But that's why I always stress when I do a transfer show, these are rumours, players we are linked with. We haven't signed them. That's why I always reiterate it and always state it. We haven't signed them yet. So people don't think, oh, hang on, we've signed this player, but he hasn't come in yet. But he said, well, I signed them. That's why I always double fact it to make sure people realise that these are rumours until they become truth. Once they become truth, then you say, yes, this player has signed because we've got the proof. But until then, it's all hearsay. And as far as I'm concerned, some people out there want to talk a load of bollocks. Let them get on with it.
Exactly.
Let them talk out their backsides.
Yeah.
Because all they're spouting out is verbal diarrhea at the end of the day.
Well said. Well said, Tony. Absolutely well said. You don't need to have a Geordie accent to be a fan. I should know exactly. It's like, you don't have to. Exactly. You're right, Jules. You're right. Good luck to Wednesday this season. We're too long being out of the Premier League. 100%. Hi, guys. Hope you're well. We are, David. What's going on, Maxi? Heard as a bust up. I said this before. I don't think he's Eddie Howe type player in terms of mentality and work rate. Yeah, David, like we're just saying, it's all rumours, mate. We're not going to say on here. Until then, I see your point. Until then, 4 or 5 things different happens all the time. So Eddie's very coy. What he says, Aston Liam, chatting to Jules. Yeah, my accent's the furthest from Geordie accent without graphics, or what to call it. Thanks, cheers, thank you. Here's graphics. Oh. And Welsh accent here, so no Jordan and me. Just wait till Tisha comes out. I'm learning the Geordie accent from Bleed and Races. I like coffee. I love this guy. There's also a chance of Stu Mead. We will see come through the team sheet later. That's from Paul. And I'm from Norway, so quite far from a Geordie accent. Wow. Excuse me. First time I heard a Geordie being a sticker for Welsh. Love the Geordie and Welsh accent. I had no idea whatever we're seeing when I first heard it, though, but always loved it. Big up. Cheers, big up. Paquetá wore Newcastle shirt and the internet kit. So there you go. I mean, I'm going with you, Adam. Right? We talked about rumours and stuff like that, yeah? Just because he wore a Newcastle shirt, it don't mean to say that he's going to come to Newcastle, right?
No, 100% it doesn't. We've had quite a few occasions with Wednesday fans where there's a stir made about a certain player that he's been seen at the KFC down the road from the ground. It's a running rumour now. It's a running joke. I don't know if you've heard of Ben Marshall. Spent a long time at Blackburn. We were in for him. Must have been 8 years ago now, and every single transfer window there's a joke made about how he's coming back to Wednesday, he's having a medical. I'm along the same thought process as you guys. Until I see them in the arch leading onto the pitch wearing a Wednesday shirt, I don't buy much into it. Obviously there's an interest to be taken in the speculation, and like John said, you get the excitement from hearing names mentioned with your club. You're like, oh, that'd be a fantastic transfer, but until they're seen wearing a Wednesday shirt, I'm not fussed.
Exactly, and that's how it should be, because there's too many rumours to social media stuff and names been chucked out. There's also as well, we've been linked to 1,000 names over the summer sort of thing. This is why the club don't say now, I don't say now, until they hold a scarf up and we're the Newcastle top or Wednesday top for your part as well, mate. You know what I mean? So who would have thought you signed Isak? That came out of the blue as well. No one didn't know about that one, really.
Yeah, the same with Gimaresh. No one knew about that until it was almost done.
No one.
He was heavily linked with Arsenal, weren't he? And then all of a sudden he ends up at Newcastle.
Yeah, because he wanted to pay for Ed in the famous black and white.
He's got taste. The guy's got taste.
Yeah, we have our
listen to these channels, but don't give them a like or don't subscribe to the lads. Exactly. I mean, it's all about being truthful. We are so honest. You check out Tony's. It's all black and white TV. He is as honest as he gets. He's real. He's honest, and he speaks the truth as well with facts. Simple as that. So check out his channel, by the way. Couldn't even say what his accent is now, and that's some Foxy blessing. No, cheers. Everyone's going as well. We'll go for this concert. You talk about the predictions as well. If you sign the right players, we'll be in top 4. Another winger, very quality midfielder. Right back in case as you needed. We could add left back to the squad as well. Yes, absolutely. I love it. People are trying to stir shite and get the fans on ASN's back. So we ask for a transfer. I don't pay any attention of it. As even sometimes, if it's a manager leaking this stuff to force a move. Exactly. And go for agent or manager. Wow. 25. Don't lie, Tony. Saw you in the Liverpool midfield picture you shared. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I know I'm only joking, mate. You know, I think everybody knows I'm joking, but yeah, it's because I put the picture up of the Liverpool midfield. You know, the one I showed the other night, John, with the 4 women on the Zimmer frames.
Yeah.
I said that's Fabinho. I said that's Milner, Fabinho, Henderson, and Thiago.
Yes, I can remember that. Oh, that was funny. That was really funny. Two of the Mikel Liverpool midfielders.
I mean, obviously Bruno. I see this could be a thing. Bruno could be playing this afternoon. I mean, he's put a post out saying, "Come on, team NUFC." He's put a post out saying, you know, the match this afternoon with a countdown clock on. Obviously, yesterday, and it's 18 hours in England and 15 hours in Brazil. So, who knows? I mean, Newcastle's also put on the Twitter, they're showing the goal from Ginola against Sheff Wednesday Hillsborough 95 with that when we had that lovely burgundy and blue shirt on with the hoops.
Oh, that was a strip, that.
Yeah. Lovely shirt, that.
Lovely.
Yeah, with a grandad colour.
Wow, that is nice.
And when he scored that goal from outside the area against Sheffield Wednesday when we won 2-0.
Can remember that. Well, can you remember the 8-0 thrashing we gave you back in 1999? Bob Robson's first home game, Adam. I'm sorry to remind you that, mate. Sorry.
Shearer got 5.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thankfully, only being born in 1998, I'm not old enough to remember that, thankfully. So.
Oh, man, you were lucky. Don't watch the rerun then before the game today. Please don't. No, we'll not beat you 8-0 today.
If we're talking results against each other, should we go on recent form?
Yeah. Exactly.
So I'm pretty sure we did the double.
Yes, he did. He beat us in that double in the championship. You're right. We lost 1-0 at home. He beat us 2-1 as well. When Shelby tried to score after 5 seconds.
What a strike that were. I was showing my missus this morning that, to be fair. She couldn't believe it.
That was some strike, that. And it nearly came off. Nearly came off. But, hey, John, great time in Hong Kong. Watched the first half of Newcastle game in 2022. Second half in 2023. Surreal. And that's Leslie, a Geordie from Hong Kong. We let Carrot go as well. Yes, we did. He's doing wonders at the ball, and that's right. That was a long game, very long game. I hear Leicester wants 70 mil for Mad. No effing way, too much money. Same for Brian midfield after asking for 70 mil. This is why these English clubs are so damn expensive. Simple as that.
But I think Casido got a contract at Brighton until 2027, so that's why he's going to cost a lot of money, unfortunately.
Exactly.
And he's a young guy, so he's only 22, so 21, 22. So you got, even if you paid 70 million for him, he's got years left in the game. So don't say it's too much money. Maybe 70 for Maddison's a bit much, but because he's only got 18 months left on his deal, I would say 50 million max for Maddison, if I'm honest.
But what you've got to consider with these signings, especially with the numbers that are getting released, a lot of fans don't appreciate that the transfer value is more marketed towards how valuable he is to the club that currently own him. I can't remember who it was not long ago. They put out an outrageous fee for a player that someone was inquiring about, and everyone was like, well, that's way too expensive. But you only need to look at how important that player is to the team at the time and how much money they're going to need to put into the club to replace that player. So,
yeah, that's a good point, Andy. It's a good point. That's why myself, Maddison, I wouldn't really want to pay more than 40, maybe with another 5 in add-ons. There's a brilliant player, don't get me wrong, but I think we're still in the situation where people are still trying to play a fast one with us on valuations, thinking, the owners are the richest in the world, so maybe well, everyone else has felt, but maybe we can be the ones that can force them to overpay for a player. But I don't think it will work. And we've shown in the past that we're quite happy to walk away if the deal isn't right. When we did it with Botman and came back in the summer, the deal was right and got our man. We've done it on a few players. But I see your point that the selling club has to replace the player. And if he's the sort of players we're going for are going to be integral parts of their first team, so they've got to figure out how much it's going to cost to replace the guy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's it's all about money at the end of the day and what the money's worth. And it's so difficult to do deals with other British clubs because they know you're going to get a lot of money as well. But you're right, Tony. I mean, that's how much money it is. Caicedo, he's got a contract until 2027. You're quite right.
Sorry for talking over you, John. We've been heavily linked with Caicedo. I just don't see it happening for that reason. We're not going to pay. Brighton are going to want 60, 70 million for him. He's not a 60, 70 million pound player. Not to us.
Liverpool and Chelsea are in for him now.
Let them spend the money. We'll go for hopefully we'll go for someone like Kone at Mönchengladbach?
Yeah.
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 I've been banging on about this player for the last 6-7 months, and but the thing is, Chelsea's now in for Mudryk as well. The thing is, I'll tell you why Chelsea and Liverpool are wanting to splash the cash and buy players, because they're panicking because they've lost the top 4 spot because we're in there.
Chelsea in danger.
And I said this would happen.
Chelsea in danger of not qualifying for Europe at all.
Well, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
we get a top 4. That'd be amazing.
I was talking to a guy at work who a good mate of mine as well, and but he's a West Ham fan, and I just said to him, "What's happening with your club? Because you're in the relegation zone, aren't you?" And he said, "Do you know what? Well, they're not in the relegation zone now; they're out of it because I got that point in Leeds." But he said, "I don't know." And I said, "Is Moyes on borrowed time?" And he said, "Well, to be fair, he probably is. He's probably had his run now, but nothing's going to happen to Moyes at the moment," he says, because obviously, 1, we've just lost David Gold, he says, and 2, when they've got the funeral and everything to have for him, so it'll probably be like he's probably got another month to prove himself before he probably gets sacked. But because of what's happened recently, it's going to be a while now before David Moyes is out the door, so his job's safe for the moment due to the unforeseen circumstances.
Then I've got a mate that's a big West Ham fan, and his point about what if we get rid of Moyes, who we're going to bring in to replace
Steve Bruce.
Yeah. They kill him up. Not. Just don't talk to Dom on West Ham on that channel as well. Please don't. Just get back to one of the live chats as well. Peter as well. I miss your channel, mate. Your comments. If Big If has to travel and is at another ground, get rid of this one. No play is bigger than the club. We all had these players and they never work out. Take a loan if it needs to be. I have to agree there, but again, no one knows what's going on. I believe Fox has got a good question for you as well. Adam, give another 10 more. Said to Tony yesterday, Wednesday, some great players. Carboli, Digano, Emerson Toon, Yonk, Degrease, Reggie Blinker, Kovacic, Petrescu, the builder. Does Adam have a favourite from the past?
A favourite from that era would purely have to go with David Hirst, just because of the fact that he was the most prolific striker my dad ever mentioned. The fact that he was put in the same category as Alan Shearer by Alex Ferguson. He was wanting both of them in the same transfer window, and thankfully he got neither of them. But it's hard for me to comment because I wasn't old enough to have watched that time. So I did notice they mentioned Wim Jonk in there. I'm pretty sure my dad would have different things to say about him. He wasn't so prolific for Wednesday. So
yeah, he played for Inter Milan as well, and he was Big up to Annie, by the way. He's a championship expert, by the way. He's only 15, I think he is. Great guy. And hi to you, long time no see. I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
And now it's been a while. We haven't heard from him for a while, but big up to Annie. We have a bit different.
He's a good lad.
He is. When he does the wind Billy up sort of thing, do you know what I mean? Big up to Andrew B. Hope you're okay. And F go for this. Everyone's saying hi. Have you seen the story about 6-year-old trying to sell his toys to buy Joe Linton from the kids' team as he loves him as a player and watches Newcastle with a signed picture of Joe Linton?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, I've said
That's
that. Yeah,
wicked, that. That's
brilliant.
Amazing, that.
I'm sure if Joe hears about it, he might do something.
Exactly. Michael Brown used to play for Sheffield United, by the way. I don't know if it's that Michael Brown, but club knows.
I doubt it, John.
I doubt it. Club knows Newcastle have big financial backing, and when Newcastle shows strong interest, the club will increase the selling value of the player Newcastle seek to buy. Unfortunately, it's supply demand. You know what it is, Michael? Right? It's just Newcastle tax. That's all it is, mate. Newcastle tax, and that's why they ask for more money. And when they do that, we just tell them to get stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Final on top 6 will be an amazing season for us. If any of us is a bonus, I take Champions League and a good run in the cup as well. Me, I'm being a bit greedy. And at least Dennis Wise isn't director of football anymore, really.
the poison dwarf.
Oh God, was it Zisco he signed?
Yeah, Nacho Gonzalez from Spain, and he was a Chilean, I think he was, or Uruguayan or something like that, and he was useless. He was terrible. I think he only played one game. He only watched him. He signed him because he watched a 3-minute YouTube clip and signed him from the Spanish club, and I think it was Valencia, and he was useless, and he was gone. Least said about that, the better.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's a nightmare time, that.
Shocking.
The beginning of the nightmare, I should say.
Cisco, another one, another flop, another waste of space.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think he played for us for about 60 minutes or something like that.
I mean, going back to your Sheffield Wednesday, Di Canio, I mean, he was a hothead, Di Canio, but I'll tell you what, the best moment for Di Canio was when he pushed Paul Alcock. bless Paul Alcock's soul, because he's no longer around now, as he died a couple of years ago. But when he got sent off for that, that's fair enough. He got sent off, but I think the referee made a drama out of a crisis in my eyes, because, as Michael Winner used to say, don't make a drama out of a crisis. Because when he pushed him, I don't think Di Canio pushed him that hard, and it was the way he fell. He sort of like walked back and then stumbled and went over, and it was so theatrical, and it was like he's made it look worse than it actually was. And it wasn't even a hard push on him, and I mean that got all the fans going. I think the fans loved it in a way, but you're probably too young to remember that, are you? Adam?
I am, yeah, but I've seen the video clips of it, and I've spoke to fans from around that generation who were around watching that, and that was the beginning of Wednesday's demise. Unfortunately, Wednesday didn't stand by Di Canio, and they made an example of him, and it was one of the reasons that led to him leaving Wednesday. Obviously, at the time when we were starting to lose a lot of players due to our bad ownership, as you've just explained with Dennis Wise, bringing in shocking players for extortionate money and letting really good players really cheap go. It's one of the reasons we started to, drop down the leagues. So
sad. It's sad, but what a talent that guy is. Roland Nielsen's number one. He was really decent.
The best fullback of all time.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah, the Swede. Yeah, he was a brilliant fullback. He was.
Was he just?
We still sing a song about Roland Nielsen at Wednesday, and we go through the numbers of the shirts on the pitch, and every number apart from number 9 is Roland Nielsen. Number 9 is David Hurst, as you would expect. So he's still idolised by almost every single Wednesday fan, whether they've watched him or not. So,
wow, he's a good player. What a left back he was. He would have been brilliant under Kevin Keegan, by the way. I'll tell you that for now. He would have been. Trust this.
He'd have been brilliant under anyone.
He would. That's why you did send him to Man United, didn't you? Back in 1991. You know, he told for you to get stuff, basically. How's Jack Hunt getting on then? Jackie Hunt?
So we signed Jack Hunt on loan from Crystal Palace at the start of the 2015 season, and then we made it a permanent transfer at the end of that year, going into the following year. He was a fantastic fullback for us. With a formation that we played in the Championship at the time, he worked perfectly because he wasn't all that defensive for a fullback. He was more of a wing back. But with how much possession we played under Carlos at the time, he was a fantastic player for us. Was always making overlapping runs outside of the wide midfielder and could whip a diamond of a crossing. We sold him to Bristol City towards the end of our good reign in the Championship. It looked like he was losing his legs a little bit. There was a little bit of a loss of confidence because a lot of the players who he'd been playing around at the time when he was at his best at Wednesday had started to go. And it was a sad time to see him go, but the money we got for him made it worth it. And then we signed him back as a free transfer from Bristol City. And I think a lot of fans expected the same player to be coming back to Wednesday as the player we signed in 2015. But being over the age of 30 as a wing-back whose sole biggest trait in football was pace, is not the same player. He was a good starter for us last year. He provided a valuable role for us, but he doesn't get near the starting 11 this year. He's definitely second choice in that position.
Sad, isn't it? So sad. He had so much promise, and it just has to be in the same player, apparently. Just give his comments to go to wrap up and get the sort predicts as well. David Hurst would have played more for England if he didn't suffer from bad injuries. Absolutely, he was brilliant. Burnley winning Bournemouth by 0-0, and Michael
it's a full Bournemouth team as well, John. By the way,
so what?
It's a full strong Bournemouth lineup as well. And just to add into there, add into transfers. I mean, there was a rumour the other day going around that we're about to pip Man United to Sunderland player Chris Rigg.
Yeah.
Just let you know, he's on the bench for Sunderland today.
Wow. Very interesting. I don't know a lot about this guy at all whatsoever. I don't know a lot.
He's a youngster, John.
15, 16, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on the bench.
Very interesting. John, in response to your answer about price of players, Isak was overpriced at 58 mil. When you look at how much Liverpool paid for Gakpo, not Man United, Gakpo, for 37 mil, who had a decent World Cup for Holland. Unfortunately, Newcastle are going to get stung with high price tags for the players, what they want. Hence, Newcastle have to be savvy in the transfer market. Trippier, Bruno, and Botman were savvy buys. Michael, you're absolutely right, mate. Come to that in a bit.
I don't think we've been stung for Isak.
I don't.
I think the fact that he's been injured is the problem.
Yeah.
In the last couple of seasons, of all the young sort of low 20-year-old strikers, the only ones that have been better have been what do you call it, Haaland and Mbappe. The only ones that scored more goals.
I just think he got a fantastic price for him.
Yeah, I think we did as well, because apparently he was our number one target before Ekitike, but they just thought he was too expensive.
There was something like 33 million for Ekitike, but we got Isak for 58 mil, rising to 63 mil. Yeah, Foxy has retired. I've heard that as well, man. But what a waste of a sign that was. So the money you got for him was ridiculous. How much did you get for Jack Hunt?
Just over 3 million, and for a player that was starting to lose his legs was an unreal signing. So yeah, we were very appreciative of the money that Bristol City weirdly pumped into us for him.
Wow. And Isak's worth every penny. I'll tell you something now, right? Isak will make a difference. If his scores to get to the Champions League, then let's be real, that guy, he'd play a major part as well. Those 7 buys were for European clubs, hence why I think we should focus our business there. Leicester have to agree. If you buy British players in England, you're going to get ripped a good one. Right, before we wrap up the show, we will go for score predictions as well. We're going to start with our guest, Adam. Sheffield Wednesday, Newcastle. How do you think it's going to go today?
Right, well, I'll give you my dad's first because he always goes 3-0 for every single game, regardless of who the opposition is. So he's saying 3-0 Wednesday. I'm a little bit more of a realist. My head is saying we're going to get battered. depending on the side you put out. But I believe that if you are playing Guimaraes and Isak ends up getting back out, now you're not going to score 8. It's not going to happen.
No.
But I reckon you might get 2.
10.
Oh, you said 10. I didn't see the fingers. Oh,
I'm joking.
Yeah, no. I think my head is probably going 4-1. But my heart, I've got a little bit of hope, believing that little old Wednesday at this moment in time could, as much as I don't want to replay, I reckon a 1-1 could be in for show.
Is there a replay or is it going to be extra time today?
See, I'm not sure. I'm saying replay because I thought that's what it were. It's after so many rounds, then it goes to extra time. So
Right.
Yeah, because Klopp's come out and said he wants them all scrap the replays. He wants them just to go on and be a finish. He doesn't like that. He says there should be no reason for little clubs to hold on and get a replay at the big ground. He says, surely you can just compensate them somehow.
I cannot stand
that man. That man is just ridiculous. I mean, this is the same guy who said when they got beat off Brentford, oh, well, you know why Brentford won? Because they had no players at the World Cup. Well, sorry, they had David Raya at the World Cup for Spain. They had Mbeumo playing for Cameroon. So the guy doesn't do his research clearly, does he? He doesn't think before he opens his mouth. And I can't stand the guy.
He's got no crap filter from here, has he? He just says whatever comes to his head. I can't stand him. He's a clown. So
Stop doing a disservice to clowns.
No, I mean, you're right. Crazy. So you're going to go... What's the score you're going to go with, Adam?
My head's saying 4-1 Newcastle, but I'm going to cling on to my heart and say 1-1.
Fair enough. And a replay. Rory, what if his score's going to be today, man?
I'm not sure. A lot of it depends on what team we play. I want a clean sheet because we're collecting them at the minute. I'd be happy, to be honest, I'd be happy with a 1-0 win with no injuries.
Cool. And Tony, you're a realist as well. And how do you think it's going to go today, my man?
I want to see a 3-0, John. That's what I said last night. The 2 Wednesday lads last night. I said 3-0. Because I can't see them breaching our defence because with defence is watertight at the moment. Obviously, depends who plays today. You got to remember, I mean, Wednesday, it's not just a small ground. It's a traditional, old-fashioned England ground. And, you know, remember the FA Cup semi-finals used to be there as well as Villa Park. I mean, I think that's where the FA Cup loses its identity a bit because I agree think that the semi-finals shouldn't be at Wembley. They should be played away from Wembley. Wembley should just be for the final because if you get the final, you're thinking, oh, well, I'm going to Wembley, but I've already been there for the semi-final. Where at least if you play a neutral ground like we played at Old Trafford a couple of times, at least then you think, right, we're going to Wembley now and we're going to play in the showcase final. I mean, when we were under Bobby Robson, we got the semi-final against Chelsea when Payet scored. And that was at Wembley, the semi-final. And I didn't like that being at Wembley. It should have always gone back to being at, it should have been at a neutral ground. So I think they need to bring that back. But whether they do or not, I think what I heard is the reason they do it at Wembley is because they're paying for the Wembley Stadium. So they need to make as much money off that as they can, which is wrong, really. But yeah, that's my prediction, 3-0. But it depends who plays today, John, and depends what team. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't surprise me if he puts a full strength team out. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, John. We were all saying that against Bournemouth. What would he play and what did he do? He put a full strength team out against Bournemouth. Exactly. So, and the same team then went on and faced Leicester in the league on Boxing Day. So it doesn't surprise me what he does. I'll tell you one thing that'll be interesting. If Martin Dubravka doesn't play today, he's on the move. He's got to be. Surely, if he's not playing today, he's on the move.
Exactly. And I'm going to go with, I'm going to go 3-1 today. 3-1 to Newcastle. And we're on good form and we will score goals. And we'll probably take it easy today, but 3-1 today. Sorry, Adam, but I have to be honest, we need to keep going winning going as well. And
I just want to say, John, that I always find it funny on these shows when people are predicting or predicting scores in Newcastle games that they always have the opposition scoring. They're thinking, we've let in 11 goals in 18 games. Why do you think everyone's going to score against us?
I think you'll
Yeah,
also see that we've got the best defensive record in League One, so it won't be as easy for you guys either. So could be a tight game, but I reckon you will pip us with the quality you've got.
Yeah. That wasn't meant to be a slight on Sheffield
Ah,
Wednesday.
no, I didn't think it was. It's all right.
It's just in general. I think all my predictions are always to 0 because I think, well, we don't let in that many goals, so there's a good chance that the other side's not going to score.
I heard a rumour that Lascelles might be starting, so we've got a chance to score now.
Well,
My man of the match on Tuesday against Arsenal, getting booked when he wasn't even on the pitch.
He's done that twice this season.
Just
house.
there's been a great goals activity at Chesterfield at the Technique Stadium. West Brom took the lead after 2 minutes through Brandis Thomas Asante, and Chesterfield have equalised in the 7th minute through Tyrone Williams. So 2 goals in 5 minutes. Chesterfield.
Go on, Chesterfield.
Go on, Chesterfield.
Bournemouth equalised against Burnley, Ryan Christie. Forest are getting beat off Blackpool 1-0. And Bournemouth are losing to Accrington Stanley.
Accrington
Stanley? Who are they?
Who are they?
Exactly.
Do you remember the advert? Yeah.
Yeah. What's the pig score against Millwall, if you wouldn't mind?
Who's the? Oh, you mean Sheffield United?
Yeah, don't say the name. The pigs. Yeah.
Hey!
0-0.
All right. Okay. Go on, Mill.
We're going to go through this conference.
Yeah, the Mackems on 0-0 at the minute, John.
Who's that?
The Mackems on 0. Yeah, but Shrewsbury's had 59% possession of the ball.
It's good.
Wow.
But do you know what would be funny though? If Millwall, in some ways, I tell you what, no, would it be funny or would it not? Because it'll be a bloodbath, I think. Because if Millwall win and get through, and West Ham get through, can you imagine Millwall and West Ham being paired together?
I'd love it.
That would be a bloodbath. Wow. That would be an absolute bloodbath.
It would be. Don't look good. Thanks, lads. Great show. Thank you, Jules, for modding as well, and Chess as well. We are lads, and you as well. And he's called the man who doesn't remember Shearer. That is Adam.
I do remember Shearer.
Hey, he's only joking. Jess is a lovely guy. He's a lovely guy. I had a conversation with him, but he's a lovely guy. And you, Jules, thanks to you, mate. Take care as well. And surprised to hear one of you boys agree with me on 3-0. Yeah, I don't think we see Dubs near our start 11. It has to play for ages. The gauntlet has been laid. I agree with Jules. And we've got one here for, I don't know who he is. Oh, yeah. Chavista, Jules. And do hit the subscribe button, Chavista. That'd be fantastic. Thank you. And everyone's there as well. Speaking Norwegian.
Yeah, he is, John. Yeah.
It is. Big up to Davey as well. And been working. We're just about to go, mate. But I hope you had a good day. Don't work too tough, eh? And Jules. Big up. Yes, and Jules as well. So I'll start again. Thanks for Jez, Jules, and Jules on Modern Beach channel as well. You've done a wonderful job. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much indeed. Share the love to my mods as well. But you guys have more store than us. We've got no store here yet.
We don't.
I just have to return to Guak. It's fine. Good on you, Davey. Guys, before you go.
Well done, Davey.
Big up, Davey. Well done.
Yeah, because he was listening. Because he came on my show, John, before, and he says, "Oh, I'm just on the ferry now." So he says, "I've got you tuned in." So I was like, "All right, okay then."
Wow, didn't know that, but well done to him, by the way. Well done to Davey, by the way. What a good job he's done, man. And yeah, so what a guy, Tony. What a guy. What a guy he is, Davey. What a guy. So, sorry. And
John's lost his train of thought now. Look, he's having a Sinclair moment.
Lost the thought. Oh man, miles away. I mean,
all right, guys, he's having a Sinclair moment, guys. So don't worry.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Go back.
He has one every day.
I know. Don't tell Paul, mind. Don't tell Paul.
What? You've had a Sinclair? Hang on.
Paul?
Oh, there you are. I've just told Paul. He's had a Sinclair moment.
He loves this. He
and
loves
Billy.
Oh, Billy, man. I've got to get in contact really soon anyway. But God do that as well. But guys, thanks so much for coming on. Big up to Dean, by the way, from New Zealand. Big up, man. And thanks. Rolly, where can find you? Give us a shout out, please, on your socials, mate.
I'm on Twitter at Pole67.
It's frozen.
But if you want to find Rolly on his socials, there's Polis67 is in there as well. Adam, where can we find you, man? On your
so I've put my Twitter handle in my username, but I'm also the co-runner of the Sheffield Wednesday Armed Forces Supporters Club. You can find us with Armed Forces Owls on Twitter as well, and on social media with Facebook.
Brilliant stuff. You two mates have a lovely podcast. Keep up the good work. Thank you, man. Thank you so much indeed, Chafisa. I really appreciate that. And Tony, where can we find you? Give us a shout out, mate.
Yeah, you can find me on my Twitter handle, which is there on the bottom of the screen at TonyTony31. Follow me and I'll follow you back. And also you can find me on my channel, which is on the screen behind me. It's all black and white TV. It's all on Twitter. It's all on YouTube. Go and check it out. I've just done a great show this afternoon there. So if you haven't seen it, it's all about the Big Six. Have we got the Big Six rattled? Go and have a look. It's been a brilliant show. Me and Pete Proudlock on there. I've had transfer shows on. I had a great show last night with 2 Wednesday fans as well, as I say, one from Sheffield, one from America, from New York, I think it was. 2 great lads. So go and check that out as well. Check any of my content out, because I've got some good stuff on there. And give it a like and a subscribe as well, please. I'm up to 234 subscribers. I've gained another 3 today. So, yeah. Absolutely brilliant, and it's grown the channel. So, and I've only been going since October, by the way.
Quality work, Tony, lad.
Great
Thank you
work.
very much.
You've done so well, Tony.
Yeah,
hard work. Just keep at it, Tony. Just keep at it, man.
Yeah.
You're doing really good work, mate. It's really good work. Just couple more comments as well. Hello again, Joe Willock, #1 fan, and he's yay, Big Joe, Little Joe. Imagine Mudryk signs for Newcastle, same as Bruno was linked with Arsenal, and suddenly we see him in Newcastle. Mudryk, I can't say what happened, I'm afraid. He only wants to go to Arsenal, but Chelsea wants him as well, by the way. But you never know.
Everybody. I don't think they have a scouting department. They find out who's linked to who their main rivals are linked to, and then try and buy them.
Yeah, why not? We could offer him Champions League if we get up, like, you know what I mean? But is he going to get in the team? Would he be in the first team? I don't know. I really don't know. He'll probably be sub, but they need to get the skates on Arsenal if they want to get this guy, or Chelsea end up getting him. But still, guys, thank you very much indeed. And Adam, did you enjoy coming on my show, mate? Did you enjoy coming on?
Yeah, it was class, mate. Thanks for the invite. You got a fantastic channel going on here. It's nice speaking to you guys. You've all been polite, and yeah, let's hope for a good game tonight. Are you any of you got going or?
No,
I'm not, mate. No, I'd love to go, but I cannot go, mate. I've tried to get
tickets
back.
When you're watching the TV footage, if you look at the big stand on the far side that you'll see in front of you, the far left-hand side nearest the Newcastle fans, about row 7, there's a gangway. I'll be on there. I'll pop you a wave.
You do that, mate. You do that.
Last time I went to Hillsborough was Boxing Day 2009 when we were in the Championship.
Shuffing out, that's a long time ago. It's not changed much. We've added a lick of paint here and there, but apart from that, it's not changed.
No, yeah, absolutely. Now, yeah, I always remember when I come out there because Colaccini got injured in that game, and I got in the car with my daughter, and we just sat down just to get ready to go. And my daughter pointed out and says, "Look, is that who I think it is?" And it was Colaccini walking across the car park to go into a car to go, obviously going off to hospital. For whatever he'd done. But yeah, he came across the car park in front of us, Colaccini. Yeah.
Wow. Very good story there, Tony, man. I mean, never met the guy.
Because the car park's like opposite the ground, opposite the main entrance.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I got there, I pulled up at your main entrance and I said to your steward, actually at the time, I said, "Where's the car parking?" And he told me he didn't know where it was.
We don't really have any dedicated parking unless you book it.
Yeah. And I just followed these other fans and then went round the roundabout and back down. And there's a car park across the road. And I thought, oh, well, I'll park there then. So, yeah, ideal.
Ideal.
But yeah, he says,
Ideal.
"Oh, we don't know where there's any car parking now." I was like, "All right, okay then." That was
Sounds
funny. I was
typical of
opposite the
Wednesday
ground.
stewards to not having a. It sounds typical of Wednesday stewards to not have a clue what's going on.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
true, yeah. But no, it was a
Brilliant
nice
stuff.
experience at that ground. And I thought the food and drink was quite reasonably priced at the time as well. I mean, I know I'm going back 13, 14 years ago now, but I mean, the food and drink was pretty reasonably priced as well.
Well, it's a northern club, we're not quite as northern as you. You're basically in Scotland, but we're still what most people would deem a northern club. So the prices are still okay. We've got a fan zone open now inside the club car park for where the club shop is, serving beers and fish and chips, etc. for fans, which is a nice new addition for this year. So yeah, the club's making steps into the right direction, you could say.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
brilliant.
I must come to Wednesday one day, when Newcastle do play, sort of thing, and for the food as well. And I'm sure the food will be beautiful as well. So
Berries pork sandwich. There's a sandwich chain shop all around the ground called Berries. Yeah, you'll have to get them on Twitter. Pork stuffing, crackling, dripping on a lovely fresh baked bread cake. It is unreal. So
wow. I'll do that, man. I'll do that. I mean, not being Ian Abrams, but he loves his food. But I could do that. Get some food and munch it down, We'll go through this conference before we've got to wrap up as well. And got a lot of time for Sheffield Wednesday's coach Dan Moore. I hope that ours gets an automatic promotion spot to the championship. Yeah.
Cheers, Michael.
Fantastic. Yes, John, please have the young man who doesn't remember Shiva back on your channel. 110%, yeah. 110%, 110, man. He's a fantastic guy. Big up to Ian, evening to you, mate. That's afternoon. That's fine, yeah. A bit late, mate, but afternoon to you, mate. At least you come in. Thanks, Adam, for stopping by. A great guest from Jules. So we're going to wrap up this. I've got one more here. I think I've got one more. And Jonathan as well. Big up to Jonathan. Anyone knows if it's true about ASM? That is not true by the sounds of it. Nobody knows, and Jess has answered that one for you as well. Wait for the team lineup to come as well. If he's not in the team, I'll be worried. Guys, thanks so much for coming on. And if you like the video, like what you see, hit the like button, subscribe button as well. If you like to super chat, also you'd like to become a member, it's John Sinclair TV on YouTube, Twitch, and also on Facebook. And if you've got John Sinclair 50 on Instagram, and also if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's John_NUFC42. Hills was always one of the grounds where the FA Cup semi-finals played before it went to Wembley. And I have to agree with Tony, it needs to go back to grounds like Villa Park, Hillsborough, Old Trafford, Etihad for semi-finals as well. So let's hope we get that back soon. But thanks so much for joining, guys. And Adam, thanks you for coming on as well, mate. I really appreciate you coming as well.
No worries, man. Thank you.
Good luck for the rest of the season, but obviously not today. I do apologise. But listen, make sure you come back again when we do play Sheffield Wednesday again for the preview, review, etc.
Bye, lads.
Bye. You take care, guys. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Okay, thank